a very good afternoon to whoever is watching KIU TV. My name is Enoth Mutonji and welcome to the talk show. And the talk show today we're hosting a very important gentleman. Yes, a gentleman. He's an agriculturist, he's a doctor, and he has so many titles. He's also the Vice Chancellor of the big and the leading private university in Uganda. He's the Vice Chancellor. You're welcome on the show.
Thank you so much for hosting me.
Yes.
It's a great pleasure indeed.
Thank you so much for allowing to give us some time to talk to us. Okay. So for starters, who is Dr. Mohamad Mpezamihigo? Because that's why I stopped. I don't know how to pronounce that full name. Mpezamihigo, yes.
Actually, it's always very good to introduce oneself.
Yes.
But I can call myself a young scientist who's becoming old.
Yes.
Yes. With a magnitude of experience in higher education, particularly university education.
Yes.
I've been in university management for close to 20 years.
Okay.
Actually, more than 20 years now.
Yeah.
And been responsible for institutional transformation wherever I have been. I served in various capacities. I have also served government agencies like the National Council for Higher Education for 10 years as a council member. I also serve on different boards. I also, as part of community social responsibility, I also am a director of actually a junior school.
You're a director of a junior school.
Yes, I started a primary school to enable other kids to study.
Okay, that's good of you, and that's very good actually. So, you're the Vice Chancellor of this whole institution, Kampala International University.
Yes.
What hallmarks an international university?
First of all, an international university like KIU requires to have all the ramifications, all the symbols, all the definitions,
yes,
bearing an international image in terms of students,
yes,
in terms of staff, in terms of standards. Because standards can be national, they can be regional, they can be international.
Yeah.
In terms of global recognition and visibility, and in terms of our collaborations and partnerships. So that defines us as an international institution, an international university. For example, we have students from more than 23 countries.
in Africa, all over the world.
Within Africa and outside Africa, in Asia, from the US, from other continents. We are so glad that this defines who we are in the international perspective.
Yeah.
And any institution that bears or wants to proclaim being international must meet those definitions, including meeting international standards, mobility of our staff, mobility of our students. When we graduate students here, their qualifications are recognized globally.
Yes.
Our staff, move, they go for further studies. We also receive international staff. So it's really a melting point of a very typical international university.
Yeah, now I guess the viewers understand what it means being international. I've had rumors when students of KIU asked about what makes Kampala International University international. Yeah. So many people give different, funny answers.
I actually watched social media.
Yes.
And some students could not define what is international about KIU.
But
I hope.
I believe with your guidance and how you've explained, these people will now be in position to. So from there, we see that KIU almost has over 12,000 students with over 300 staff, administrative staff. And there's this pandemic. How has COVID as a pandemic affected the institution?
Of course, KIU, first of all, is fully compliant with the COVID SOPs, that's the standard operating procedures.
Yes.
Of course, the two of us have distanced ourselves.
That's very true.
With us.
Yes.
In the beginning, many people were not sure about the duration of the closure. And so when we first closed in March 2020, most of the students actually thought this would last for just like 14 days.
Yeah, they gave us 2 weeks.
Yes, so little did we know that this would stretch for a whole year.
True.
And so one of the first negative impacts is, of course, the halting of studies.
Yes.
So especially for our new students, our staff also, returned home, and so everything came to a standstill.
That's very true.
But we are wise enough as an international university, as a university that needed to prepare for the disaster, to try and go digital. We tried our level best to enhance and expand our learning management system. We decided, for example, that we had students who had fulfilled all the academic requirements and so needed to graduate. So we did a virtual graduation in August 2020. And so we came on board. We invited international collaborators. We won some huge projects that would see our digital platform, actually, an online digital platform, even improved further so that we are able to host more academic programs. So on one hand, there were shortcomings because there was less income for our staff. The students, had money issues. There were internet issues to access our studies online. And so, but I think after these 12 months, people have found the mechanism of trying to catch up. So, otherwise, if you decide to sit and wait until COVID-19 disappears, I don't think that is likely to happen.
So as the institution, you also have put, as you said, some mechanisms on how you can come up with that. So you're now in the recovery stage, or you've already recovered as an institution?
I think, it was a big bang, first of all, very disruptive. Now, we were not prepared for it at that time, but now I think it's a big lesson, not only for Kampala International University, but for all other education institutions. We are lucky that we were operating normally, everything was fine until we had, of course, some limitations, financial limitations, because, again, we depend on what the students actually contribute towards their tuition.
Yes.
And so we can't say we are stuck there, but we can actually say with the permission to open by the head of state, we are lucky that now the students are coming back in a staggered manner, and that is bringing hope, and also the future is brighter than we expected.
The future is brighter, says the Vice Chancellor of Kampala International University. So we're going in for a short commercial break, but when we come back, I want this gentleman, or the Vice Chancellor, to tell us about the practical world of the mass communicators or the journalists and media studies. These people have, I think it has come to your notice, I don't know if it has already come, that these people are facing some challenges in the practical world of a bit. So I don't know if it has come to your table or what remedies you have for them. But for now, let's break in for a minute. We shall. So we'll come back from that very short commercial break. We're still continuing together with having an exclusive with the Vice Chancellor of Kampala International University. Doctor, before the break, I was asking about the practical world of the journalism and media studies students. Have you received these challenges these students are facing? Or?
Of course, I think previously we had, Kampala International University had its own physical radio.
A radio station?
Yes, we had a radio station some years, even before I joined the university as the Vice Chancellor. But because our program became so attractive, we received a big enrollment, and with time the department has actually been raising needs, and we have been slowly but surely stepping them up. And I think through the association of the mass comm and journalism students, we should be able to actually maybe move even higher. Yes, higher in terms of equipment. There is actually now equipment we have procured, which is supposed to enhance our online digital platform.
TV, radio, anything.
Studio facilities. So I think if an arrangement is made adequately, the department can actually liaise with our team that is handling the e-learning programs to ensure that we take advantage of that. But I think the moment the staggered opening is lifted and it's no more running, we should be able to enhance it further.
Okay, talking of e-learning, e-learning has become a challenge. I don't know if you've also noticed that e-learning, some people have had complaints. I've had rumors from my research that some of the students don't know how these things are working in e-learning. I don't know, how are you going to go about that?
No, actually, in terms of our experience,
yes,
the first time we asked the students, because we organized what I call a student congress.
Yes.
We organized a big meeting in March 2020. Immediately we received the announcement that we are locking down. And so we had an interaction with our students and staff, and everybody, especially the students, had fears of lack of smart gadgets that can be used to access online resources. Lecturers were also still stuck to what we call the yellow notes. I don't know whether you know about the yellow notes.
Yellow notes.
Yes. So these are notes that are used year in, year out, year in, year out, without being updated. So you find that when we said you must submit your content online, there were issues. But we have also looked at the pattern of acceptance and what we call uptake of the online access. We find that we jumped from a mere like 30% to now over 80% of adoption by the students and also by our staff. By the way, resistance was not only with the students. Surprisingly, some people are like, they are called BPCs, born before computers, and they actually insist in remaining in those cocoons of saying no, we cannot take up this.
They don't want to grow with technology.
Yes, with technology. A few of them, not all of them. With time, I think it has become very clear that in order for us to keep running, we must first of all comply with the SOPs. So that's number one. Number two, that means practically we need more time. And so in order for us to ensure that we continue learning, we developed what we call the online policy. Distance and e-learning policy. And this was also approved. We were also inspected by the National Council for Higher Education. And so we made it mandatory by Senate. Senate made it mandatory that each lecturer must ensure they deposit content, and we provided training, college by college, school by school, and we are glad that now the interest is even raising higher. Now for the students, the core complaint from the students is data.
There is no data.
Internet, but look, these are the same fellows who are very busy, spending a lot of data on social media. They are on Facebook, they are on this, but they claim they do not have data bundles to access, let's say, a coursework online.
That has become expensive.
It is expensive when it comes to content, but affordable when they are busy chatting. But anyway, what we try to do is to allow the formation of so many WhatsApp groups where if students cannot access the LMS, that's the learning management system, they are able to receive content also via WhatsApp groups, and then they can also discuss in groups. So we are going for the blended format. Blended means you can come for 2 weeks physically and then off. Then you go online and interface there. But when it comes to exams, CATS, that's continuous assessments, and tests, you have to come.
You come do exams physically.
Then go back, revise, then online, and then the end of semester exam will also be physical.
So
we expect that by the time we finish 2021, I think we expect resistance for physical teaching. I think that will come. Because now let me tell you something very interesting. The students now have time. When we release them, they are also able to do other things. They are not physically required on campus. So we think it is a win-win, but we need to monitor that, and we're using our quality assurance team.
That's a great job. But talking of data being expensive, I've moved from various institutions, moving from one to the other. Some universities have provided Wi-Fi or internet for their students. What is the plan for KIU about Wi-Fi or data for students?
I mean, there are quite a number of services that we have negotiated with our service provider, that is RENU. RENU is Research Education Network for Uganda, where they are introducing a service like EduRoam. This is a service that will enable students to access internet off campus.
Off campus.
Via the domains given by KIU. So if you are registered, you are a bona fide student, that is going to be enabled.
Okay.
They also have been able to negotiate what they call zero rating from telephone subscribers. This is MTN, Airtel, and others. And so that service is going also to allow you to access our pages without requiring data.
Okay.
So we think this will increase with time. And that should be able to leverage. But when you're on campus, we are sure that quite a big section of the university has got Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yes.
They have got Wi-Fi. I don't know if that's up to the viewers and the students of Kampala International University. No, I'm not doubting. I'm just saying that's up to the viewers out there.
You can actually enable your phone and test if you need.
Shall do that after we leave the interview. But aside from students and continuing students, right now, Kampala International University for years I've followed it has over 1,000 students graduating per year.
Yes.
But from the research I haven't seen KIU. I don't know if I don't know, you might correct me. Connecting these students, these products from KIU to the job market. How is the institution planning on doing anything of connecting people to these job markets? I mean, the lawyers, you produce very good lawyers, accountants, journalists. But I think the efforts for connecting them to job markets are less. What is, as the Vice Chancellor, of course, you know everything.
Yeah, actually, I think one of the areas that needs improvement is the area of taking advantage of our alumni.
Yes.
Now, you know, there are quite a number, over 30,000 alumni, KIU alumni, who are globally placed in the job market. Now, some of these former students of KIU are in very, very good positions. They lead organizations, they are in huge financial institutions, they are in NGOs, they are in government. Others are, successful private investors and financial providers. Now, the information I want to give you is that, for example, we have been working with banks, where they have requested our best students, those who have second class upper and first class, to be shortlisted for placement. Okay? It doesn't matter whether the student has done finance or not. They are placed for a couple of months, 6 to 7 months, and then they give them training, and those who qualify are recruited.
Okay.
And so we have been working on this, and there are also so many other organizations where we have placed students. But as I've said, this is an area where we need to enhance our Alumni Advancement Office that can work together with our Human Resource Department in order for us to assist our students.
Okay.
Some very good news.
Yes.
Just recently, this month, we have recruited more than 50 of former students.
50,000?
No, 50.
50, okay, 1 up to 50.
Those who have upper second and first class have been taken up as for staff development. We are giving them bursaries to do their masters, and later they'll be able to sign on as our assistant lecturers, and others will develop into PhDs, and then they are able to continue. So KIU itself is creating jobs internally. We are absorbing our very best, because we know those very best will be able to produce the best graduates. So we are making sure we are not producing for others alone. Those that we can retain, we are retaining, and annually this program is going to continue until KIU graduates flood most of the education institutions in this country.
Yeah,
so
that's
this is the contribution we want to make.
Okay.
In terms of addressing the issue of lack of jobs. Last but not least, there is the challenge with employment at the moment is the fact that institutions of higher learning produce more than the market can absorb.
That's very right.
So, I mean, we have more than 52 universities. We also have other post-secondary institutions producing. So you can imagine how many people graduate annually and how many jobs are being created in the market. And so there's always this talk that, you know, the graduates are half-baked and this. Okay, whereas that may happen for some institutions, but the reality is our economy needs to evolve this capacity of expansion of the job market vis-a-vis the ones we are producing.
Next time we shall be asking how the government can intervene, how that can be done. But for the meantime, without seeing now that the jobs and all those other things, now that is campus life. But here we're talking about the Vice Chancellor of a big leading private institution. So what has been most rewarding aspects of your life, of your career so far as a person?
Basically, is to see institutional transformation, which is smooth, with the support of the Board of Trustees, the University Council, and public acceptance that KIU is a giant. For me, that provides me like permanent satisfaction.
All right.
Because wherever we go, we feel very proud that the university is impacting on many lives. And also, the moment I see so many students who are being given bursaries to be able to study and graduate, you know, from all over Uganda, that alone for me is magical. And even when I retire from my job as Vice Chancellor, I feel so proud because I have made a contribution not only to KIU but to my country and the world.
And we are grateful and we thank you so much. So, as the Vice Chancellor of the institution, lastly, but as we come to the conclusion, in the 5-10 years, where do you see yourself and the institution in the 5-10 years?
I think KIU at the moment is ranked number 3 overall in Uganda, but number 1 among the private universities. So in the next 5 years, we should be the number 1 university. We don't want this issue of private or public. It has to be the number 1 university. That's number 1. Number 2, I think we need to produce more in terms of the research outputs.
Yes.
And this is where now we are putting a lot of effort. We are creating incentives for our staff. And then thirdly, we have to marathon the development of our human resource, not only for the university, but also for the other institutions. Okay. For example, we have the biggest faculty of biomedical sciences. The biomedical sciences are programs that are taught to health science students, medicine, pharmacy, nursing, and dentistry. In Uganda, KIU has the largest faculty. And there is no medical school that can teach medicine, pharmacy, or nursing without the staff in that field. So what we have done strategically, we have gotten our masters in those sciences and PhD approved. They were approved in 2019 by National Council for Higher Education. And so we are preparing ourselves as the leaders of health sciences. And secondly, related to that is our School of Engineering, the best so far. We also think we can create the other middle level technical people who should go into the oil and gas industry, who should participate in the big, proliferation of the construction industry. There is the expansion of the infrastructure, roads, buildings, and so on, and bridges.
Yes.
So why not KIU to participate in that?
He says
this is a big group.
He says why not KIU to participate, and he says in 5 years he wants KIU to be the leading. Not a private one, but among all universities, the number 1 university. He's the Vice Chancellor of Kampala International University. He's a doctor, he's an agriculturist. He has so many titles that I cannot fish right now. But besides academia, besides being an academia, as we conclude, what other things do you venture in besides academia?
As I mentioned at the beginning of the interview, I started a very modest junior school. It's a primary school, and I'm so happy that I'm able to employ people and also provide education to the community. It's just located somewhere near Namgongo, near the shrines, the Catholic shrines. It's not far away from there in Uganda, for those who are listening and are viewing and are not from Uganda. And I feel so happy that I will be able to contribute. Somebody asked me, why do you go into a primary school when you have been in the university system?
Yes.
And I say it's better we go into the lower education structures, because then those kids should feel proud. And I brought them to the KIU library. The candidate classes they have visited, and I told them, look, you have to read hard to be able to come to university. So this is my community social responsibility at a personal level, and I'm proud of that.
Thank you so much for your time. It's a pleasure having you here and talking to you, giving us some details on things that the students might be interested in, or the viewers up there. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you everyone who has been watching the talk, Kampala International University TV, call it KIU TV. My name is Mohamad. I've worked with a very big team behind the camera, the producer, the president of the Mass Communication Students Association, Makosa, in conjunction with the Guild Union. They've sponsored and partnered to bring you this exclusive interview. Selgo Peter, thank you so much for being there. He's a writer. And everyone that's been behind the camera. My name is Enoth once again. We catch you next week as we bring you other interviews. God bless you.